On April 26, 1910, the Baku police administration sent registration cards to Tbilisi. Name, surname, patronymic: Joseph Vissarionovich Djugashvili, also known as Koba. Place of birth: Gori. Date of birth: December 21, 1879. Age: around 30-32 years old by appearance. Height: 1 meter and 69 centimeter. Build seen: face shape oval. Hair black wavy. Beard and mustache brown. Eyebrows black and round. Look cheerful. Identifying mark: scarred by smallpox. Social class: peasant. Profession: tutor. Last place of residence: Baku. Date and location of arrest: March 23, 1910, Baku. Marital status: not married. Love affairs: Petrovskaya. Name, surname, father's name: Stefania Leonardovna Petrovskaya. Place of birth: Odessa. Date of birth: October 13, 1885. Age: around 24 years old by appearance. Height: 1 meter and 61 centimeter. Figure seen: face shape oval. Hair beige, mid-thick hair. Eye color green. Look serious. Eyebrows round. Title: princess. Profession: home teacher. Last residing place: Baku. When, where and why she was arrested: March 23, 1910, Baku. Marital status: not married. Love affairs: Djugashvili. Stefania Petrovskaya was a very elegant and educated lady. She was a tutor by profession, who graduated from the Mariinsky Gymnasium for Girls. Little is known about the affairs between Princess Stefania and Stalin, and there are no extant photographs of her. The future Soviet great leader Stalin, or by that time Sosa Koba Djugashvili, met Stefania long before. In March 1908, Djugashvili was arrested for revolutionary activities in Baku and was sent into exile to the city of Solvychegodsk in the Vologda province. Stefania Petrovskaya was also exiled to Solvychegodsk, and they met each other there. Later, Koba managed to escape to Baku. Soon Stefania was also released, but she did not return home to Moscow or think of going to any other place. Koba was waiting for her in Baku. They began living together. On March 23, 1910, they were arrested together. They did not conceal anything at the interrogation. Stalin said that he met her in exile, and Stefania spoke openly about her relationship with Koba. While under arrest, Soso asked the mayor of Baku for permission to marry Stefania, and his request was granted. Although Stalin was allowed to marry Stefania, soon he was again sent away into exile, and they were forced apart. Soso did not lack in attention for women, but he loved Stefania very much. One thing is of particular significance: nobody knew that Stefania Petrovskaya's registration card was in Tbilisi. The monument would stand 80 meters high on Tsminda mountain in the Stalin Park of Culture and Leisure atop the funicular railroad, towering 350 meters above Tbilisi. It would be the only example of such grandness in representing one person in the entire world. In 1948, the author of this project, Bogdan Muradovich Kirokosyan, sent a letter to Georgian Party First Secretary Candid Charkuyani with 5 photographs attached for illustration. Not long before, a summer theater designed by the architect Bogdan Kirokosyan, a resident of Batumi, was built in a seaside park. The co-author of this project was Kaha Javahishvili. The project won second prize in an all-union competition in Moscow. Now Kirokosyan wanted to erect an unprecedented monument to the great leader. This is what Kirokosyan wrote to First Secretary Charkuyani. Since 1942, I have sought to build a monument to Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin to commemorate the great leader's great achievements. The monument should stand in the eastern part of the park, looking east toward the city and overlooking the city. The architect provided further explanation. This will allow the morning sun to shine on the mountain, while in the evening it would be possible in the lingering lights of sunset to observe in relief the mountain's sharp outline. At first, Kirokosyan asked permission to erect a temporary monument. This project would be the centerpiece of the upcoming celebrations of the 30th anniversary of Soviet rule in Georgia and the 1500th anniversary of Tbilisi. This temporary monument would also help the architect to elaborate every detail of the permanent monument. Kirokosyan wrote to Cherkiani as follows: "For this reason I appeal to you for help in realizing my project." An 80-meter-high Stalin monument was not erected on the funicular. Kirokosyan's initiative did not come to pass. In 1955, the authorities erected the first TV and radio broadcasting tower on Tetsminda. For Georgians, Saint George is a substitute for a pagan moon deity. Academician Ivan Ijevachishvili, 12-volume collected works, Volume 1st, Chapter 2nd, page 19. Once while abroad, Joseph Jukhashvili's former comrade Nikolai Bukharin was asked, "Why do you not resist Stalin when you sit at the Politburo meetings and nod in assent?" Bukharin replied, "As a viper seduces animals, so does Stalin seduce us at meetings, and we don't say anything."
Если бы у нас было нищенство, если бы наша продукция не росла, если бы...
Speaking in a low voice and using long pauses oppressed the audience. Stalin's speech style made people be very attentive and at the same time provoked them subconsciously to obedience. The audience liked the role of the subordinate. In my opinion, Stalin to a certain degree understood the magical elements of the moon deity, which still holds sway in Georgia. These magic elements were used by those high priests who served the cult of the moon to rule over people. At the rituals, the high priest prayed in a peaceful and low voice and went round the audience, approaching and retreating from them again and again. Acute observers could see that Stalin behaved precisely like this. According to the famous Greek geographer Strabo, the Temple of the Moon was situated near Iberia. Those who served in this temple had the highest prestige, second only to the king. In his writing, Strabo said that those who wandered foolishly alone in the forest were seized by the priests, who hung chains on their necks and fattened them up. Then these victims of human sacrifice were anointed with fragrant ointment and sacrificed to the god of the moon. The priest made a prophecy, and then the body was moved to a place where the people attending the ceremony trampled on it in order to purify themselves. Later, the holiday of the god of the moon was substituted by the White Georgi festival, called Khatoba, and the human victim was substituted by a volunteer slave. The slave willingly fell down at the entrance, and people stamped on him. Stepped on him. A young lamb was sacrificed, and the iron chain was substituted by St. George Shrana, made of a light metal. According to Ivan Ijevachishvili, there is much affinity between Strabo's descriptions and the Khatoba festival dedicated to White Georgi. He thought that the Khatoba festival was a holdover from the celebration of the god of the moon. As far as the Khatoba festival is a remnant of the god of the moon holiday, it can be concluded that little Soso knew about it since his childhood, when his mother Keke hung St. George Shrana on his neck. According to Stalin's foster brother Alexander Tsikhitatishvili, Soso was a sickly child. For this reason, his father Beso accelerated his christening. Stalin's parents had already lost 2 children in infancy. For this reason, little Soso at the age of 3 was consecrated as a monk in the name of the Gary St. George icon that was a main symbol of their ancestry. There was a special tradition of consecrating a child as a monk in Kartli. The child's hair was not cut from the time it was decided to consecrate him as monk. He was dressed in white and borrowed clothes. Family members prayed and hung St. George Shrana around the child's neck. A lamb was brought and raised until the appointed day. According to Alexander Tskhetatrishvili, Sosa's father Besa followed this rule. He dressed the child in white and grew out his hair. The lamb reached 3 years of age. 3 days before, Besa made his way from Gori with an old cart to attend Garistoba. Jugashvili's ancestors were from the village of Gari in the Gori district, and the Gary St. George icon was their main symbol. Regarding Garistoba or the Gary St. George festival, it is the same as the White Georgi or Khatoba festival, which begins from dusk on August 14 when the moon is full. According to Ivan Javakhishvili, it is very important not to sleep at night during the St. George festival. Do you want to know why? Because St. George festival is the Khatoba festival of the moon, and the moon rises at night and lights up the night sky. For this reason, the Khatoba festival of the moon must be held at night and not during the daytime. A priest living in the village of Gari conducted the Thanksgiving service at Garistoba. Sosa's hair was cut, they took off his white clothes and dressed him colorful ones instead. Then they went home in hope that he would be healthy. It was the first time that little Sosa learned about the cult of the moon. During debate, Stalin looked his opponents directly in the eyes. He would not avert his gaze, which made his opponents confused, saved their attention, and made them lose concentration. He talked calmly and monotonously like the priests who conducted the rituals in the Moon Temple. On October 11, 1895, a poem entitled To the Moon was published under the pseudonym of Soselo in the Ivaria newspaper. The 17-year-old Soso concluded his verse as follows. So lovely moon as before glimmers through the clouds, pleasantly in the azure vault make your beams play. But I shall undo my vest and thrust out my chest to the moon. With outstretched arms I shall revere the spreader of light upon the earth. In 1906, Comrade Jugashvili visited Kakheti. The revolutionary Koba had a very close relationship with the teacher Ilya Zarapishvili and often visited his family in Tel Aviv. Zarapishvili was a correspondent for the newspaper Ivaria and was a well-known public figure. Zarapishvili provided Ivan Javakhishvili with material concerning White Georgi or the cult of the moon. Ivan Javakhishvili wrote, according to Ilya Zarapishvili, a half compass is hung on the door of St. George's Church with iron chains hanging on both sides. Slaves holding these chains go around the church slowly 3 times. Besides Ilya Zarapishvili, 2 other famous teachers and publicists living in Tel Aviv, Nicholas Tvarilishvili and Vasil Barnovi, were interested in studying and investigating of the cult of the moon and other pagan religions. Stalin often used the forefinger of his right hand when addressing to the audience. The great leader of the Soviet Union did this as if he were pointing to the masses and at the same time to a specific person. In the language of the Magi and generally in esoteric literature, this gesture is used to influence people. During that period, different publications and proclamations were published on an illegal printing press in Avlobari. The famous mystic and philosopher of the 20th century, Georgy son of Ivan Gurdjieff, was active there. He trained a 6-person military, technical and revolutionary group of the Social Democrats. Gurdjieff studied the traditions of the cult of the moon that survived in Georgia. In his opinion, a man's actions were controlled by the moon, and after his death, a man's free energy returned the moon. The illegal printing press in Avlobari was run by Koba's close friend and comrade Micha Bochoridze. who was a Bolshevik, but Teresa published many of Stalin's articles. Also, it is myth that Stalin and Gurdjieff studied together at a theological seminary, and there are no historical documents concerning their relationship. It seems obvious that in 1906, Stalin and Gurdjieff were connected via the Ulavari printing press.